Great run, but where do you place that performance that winter night here at the Emirates?
Yeah, it's up there. We knew exactly what type of game it was going to be. They're very dominant at home. They do really well with the ball. They defend well. It was always going to be like a smash and grab result if we were going to get one, and we done it perfectly.
Is there a better centre forward, centre forward number 9, I'd call him, than Alexander Isak right now in Europe?
I don't think so. I think that everyone's in agreement with that at the minute. He's on absolute fire, and when he's in that form, you just want to get the ball to him as much as possible. Even for my goal, I'm just gambling back post because I know he can just work something out to nothing. And
sum up the defensive effort, because with Botman there, bodies on the line, and tactically, what was key to it, to keeping Arsenal out?
Defensively, it's all about attitude. Our attitude today was unbelievable, to a man. But I want to mention Dan Burn as well. He's been our player of the season for me. Every game he's been absolutely outstanding. And especially the lads who come on off the bench. It's not easy to come on in that type of environment. They were excellent as well. You
said there were some home truths after the defeat at Brentford, which has triggered this run. Give us a sense of what's changed. Again, like I said, attitude. It's going above and beyond for your teammates. I think we weren't doing that at the start of the season, and we were struggling. We were expecting results to come, and without putting hard work in. Now you can see everyone's coming off absolutely shattered because we can't physically give any more than we're given. This Newcastle team have taken a lead in games this season, never lost a lead. So you've got a half-time lead, 2-0. What a position to be in. Yeah, there's no time to celebrate this one. They're one of the best teams in Europe. It's only 2-0. Only 2-0? Yeah, but this tie is far from over. We can't get excited by that result. We've just got to stay humble and keep doing what we've been doing. Well done. Thank you.
Special night for Newcastle fans who are serenading Les Ferdinand. They don't forget their heroes of yesteryear. Plenty of heroes today. The goals, yes, Les, but the desire to work for each other, to run for each other, to block everything, that was outstanding, wasn't it?
I think Lee mentioned it in commentary, and how well they set up the two banks of four, and the midfield players like Tonali, Joe Linton and Murphy, Joe Willock when he was on. They just worked tirelessly. Gordon and Murphy as well. They were getting back into shape and made it so hard for Arsenal to get any joy going forward. And Dan Burn and Botman and the Hall and Livramento love defending. They take pride in not defending as much as they take pride in scoring goals. That up the top end, those guys at the back. They were phenomenal tonight.
I think listening to Anthony Gordon in the interview talking about how much Arsenal dominate the ball, you can see, especially with the players we've got missing, the real potency up front. You can see that once they got in that shape, and we were passing around as slowly as we were, they were always going to be comfortable, and like the blocking and the defending was.
And the desire to win the second ball, as Lee said, if you don't win the first ball, make sure you win the second ball.
And they done that. They came with their plan, and I think they executed it very, very well.
Yeah. Let's have a look at the goal at the start of the second half. Arsenal came out, a crowd, of course, behind them, expecting them to try and get back on level terms. There was a second goal, but at the other end, it's well taken, but there's a lack of energy and snap, as the boys said about the defending.
We were talking about Isak dropping into those spaces, and he drops into the space, picks it up, plays it out to Murphy, and then gets himself in a box, gets a shot out of absolutely nothing, and Gordon does what every good striker does, gets into the position and gets in the back.
I think what we saw there is like arguably one of the most informed strikers in Europe at the moment, coming off and having too much time and too much space, and he got his shot off. And you have to give Gordon credit as well for following that in, because he done a lot of work in the first half tracking back. So there's a good performance from Newcastle. I'll give him that.
But it looked like Arsenal's defence there was half a beat behind what Newcastle's attackers were thinking. Do you know what I mean? In terms of an impetus.
You know what? I'm big fans of Gabriel and Saliba, but I don't think they'll have had a tougher time this season, because I thought Isak was fantastic. His movement just kept them moving all over the place, dropping in, going long. So he messed them about all evening.
I would say with that, Les, because there's not a player like that in Arsenal's squad, you're not coming up against that in training.
Yeah.
So then what's happening is that he's coming off, and it's confusing. It's confusing for them, it's confusing for the guys in front, and that's why, even with that second goal, it was far too easy. It was far too easy for that to happen. But again, it's something that happened because he's in top form and he punished us.
And he's in top form, and he put Newcastle ahead just before half-time. It was, if you like, it was a Route 1 free kick, but they picked up the pieces so well. Now, there is a little bit of a shove there on the edge of the box by Isak. VAR looked at it.
You two keep noticing that. I don't really notice it, to be honest with you.
It doesn't matter, Les. It was given. It was given.
Right. Yeah. But it was well executed. Botman gets the flick on. Murphy does great with his touch. probably touches it for himself, but, you know, look at this.
Look. It reminds me of what happened to Gabriel, what happened to Gabriel Magalhaes up there. Yeah. You have to have two hands on an Arsenal player and foul them to not get anything.
I totally agree with you.
But you know, Isak was there. I mean, this is your area. This is your bread and butter, Ian. He was alert enough to think, it's going to run off Murphy.
Because he's in that form. I saw the goal against Tottenham as well. They still was able to put that in the net. He's in that kind of form where get the ball into him, like Anthony Gordon said, and he'll probably finish it.
Newcastle were disciplined. Newcastle fought for each other. Newcastle won second balls, but Arsenal had two great chances, the first of them at 0-0. And as long as football is around, the game will never change.
No.
You miss your chances, it's a different
picture. Lose games, yeah. Well, again, we feel that this has got to be hard down to the goalkeeper's right. You know, really give the goalkeeper a problem. Like you see, across the keeper, he might save it, he might parry it. You see Havertz coming in there. Doesn't happen. And I think that
and this is at 2-0, this.
Again, you know, this comes down for me, Les, this is just a poor end. This is one that yourself, Shearer, you're not missing those. Because when you look at the technique here, a natural-born striker is watching that all the way onto his forehead and he's putting it away.
You find it hard to understand how he's not headed it. It's hit his shoulder. That only means he's taking his eye off the ball at the last moment, and in that position, that just probably turns
That's 25 minutes to go. That's 2-1. That's a different picture.
You know, I'm not going to knock Kai Havertz for what he's done up to this point. Another great chance there on a free. When the free kicks and corners and everything not working, and then you're getting players who are not naturally strikers, and you're missing chances. This is when now you're looking at Arsenal, bare bones injuries and what's going on. Players are playing when they're not fit. You have to be looking at the board now. I don't know what you can do in January, but you've got to try and do something if they're going to try and finish this season trying to win something.
The thing is, you know, those corners and free kicks have been working for most of the season. It's been a weapon for Arsenal. Unfortunately, they were short today in terms of hitting the target.
Run, but to win at the Emirates and a 2-0 lead after the first leg, where do you place this result tonight?
No, obviously it's massive. It's a great result. It's only first half, obviously. If we don't go through, then this has no meaning. But yeah, we can't hide from the fact that this is a massive win.
So what's your secret right now in front of goal?
No, I don't think it's too much of an individual thing. I think it's a team thing. I think we've been very consistent in all parts of the pitch, all the way from defending our goal and to create chances as well. But yeah, I certainly feel confident in front of goal. For your goal, did you get away with a little push on Odegaard? Yeah, I wouldn't say I got away with it. I think that's a part of the game, you know, playing a bit on the edge. Yeah, it's nothing.
What have this team found in the last few weeks? What's changed? There were some home truths said after a game at Brentford. So what is it? What's transformed?
It's difficult to put a finger on, but I think we've found our way back to our identity and to our basics. And I think it starts with the way we defend, like today, how the whole defense and the midfield is putting their body on the lines and defending with their lives. Well, listen, no team has won in the League Cup, the away leg 2-0, and not gone to Wembley after a semi-final. You're in a very good place. Yeah, certainly, but that doesn't really matter. It's still going to be a difficult game, and we have to be prepared. Thank you. Well done. Thank you.
That stat there by Gabriel to Alexander Isak said it all. No one's ever lost by 2 goals at home and qualified for the final. So Newcastle, very hot favourites to be in another Wembley final. Let's have a look at Alexander Isak's night all round. And what was it that he did that made Gabriel and Saliba so uncomfortable?
I think this part earlier in the game where he runs in behind. You know, they was expecting him to come to feet all the time, but this what makes him one of the best in Europe at the moment. He's willing to run in behind and stretch the defence. And then all of a sudden, once he does that for a little bit, and look, this is the first time I've seen someone do this to Saliba this season, and he just seemed so comfortable. And then he started doing this, dropping into areas and then picking out passes to the rest of his teammates. And that was the confusion that he gave to the Arsenal. But there you go, there's the tug on him just on the edge of the box there. That you guys happened to miss. I was going to actually go. I was actually going to go and sit in the Geordie end there for the second half because you two were like driving me nuts, to be honest. But you know, then he gets his goal and it's thoroughly deserved. And look, here again, he drops into that space, then gets himself back into the box, thinks something out of nothing, and Andy Gordon
just confusing the central defenders because he doesn't know whether.
Perfect.
they're going to go long or short.
It's and in that kind of form as well, Poogs. When he comes off and he's available, they'll give it to him, and you see, and he's creating, he's making things happen.
First time Eddie Howe's ever won here at the Emirates. Here he is with Gabriel Clark.
Well, Eddie, it's your first win as a manager here at the Emirates, and 2-0 at Arsenal after a first leg. How do you sum that up?
Yeah, very pleased with the players. That was a tough game for us in many different respects. We've had an intense period of games with near enough the same group of players. We had injuries and suspensions today, and none more so at half-time. It was a difficult half-time. We had 3 or 4 players struggling, so we had to manage the second half. Really pleased with the way we defended. I mean, we rode our luck a little bit at times, but really pleased with the result.
Is there a better striker right now than Alexander Isak?
Yeah, first half he was electric, wasn't he? I thought he played really well. Of course, he scored, but I just thought his general game was in a really good place. He was one of the players that was just feeling his hamstring a little bit at half-time, so we had to manage him in the second half, and that sort of was a big blow to our performance, really. But yeah, no, he's playing very well.
Defensively, not many teams stop Arsenal here from scoring, so what worked best?
Well, I think we rode our luck at times. As I say, I thought our goalkeeper played very well. I thought Martin made some really good saves. I thought the set plays, you could see Arsenal a very good set play team. They caused us problems, but in the main, I thought we got the small details right. Yeah, I think they had their opportunities. They had a number of shots, but you could see, I think, the mentality to defend our goal, the block shots, the bodies on the line, the heroic pieces of defending that especially we saw in the last 20-30 minutes. That's a great sign for us for them.
They did defend brilliantly in the last half hour to protect their 2-0 lead. They've won 7 in a row now in all competitions. Alexander Isak scoring the goals as well. And I said in the last week, they've won at Manchester United, at Tottenham. These Newcastle fans maybe stay down between the Tottenham and Arsenal games. Anyway, they're going to have a lot of fun when they go back to the northeast after that. From Arsenal's point of view, very simple question. Do they need to remodel the attack this summer?
Well, obviously, like, again, you know, listening to Anthony Gordon, knowing how dominant they're going to be, but then once they go deep, Newcastle, they feel, well, there's not enough that's going to breach them. Apart from what we saw with Martinelli, and we didn't see that often enough. What I'm looking at now for Mikel Arteta and what he's going to need, he needs help. I know it's very difficult to get anything in this January window, but he needs something else, because if it's going to carry on like this, it's going to be very difficult to score. He's not scoring with the goal, with the corners. We're not scoring with the chances we're making. Something needs to change. Something needs to happen.
Does it look a bit samey to you, Arsenal's attack?
Yeah, I mean, it was, you know, the chance that they had with Martinelli going through, I thought that was going to be their best option. But to do that, you needed to move the ball quicker and you needed runners. And, you know, Martinelli was out on the left, and that was the first time he actually went through the middle. Yeah. They just looked like they were struggling for an answer tonight.
Absolutely. Newcastle's night, though, you must be thrilled about what the possibilities are for them now.
Yeah, and, you know, I like their interviews because they know it's half-time. They've done really well here tonight, and as Eddie said, he's had a consistent side, a few niggles now, and you've got no time to rest people in the way that you want to. So a great night for Newcastle and their supporters.
Absolutely. Les, thank you, Ian. As a pleasure, as always.